This is Face the Nation, broadcasting live from the CNN IBN headquarters in New Delhi with Sagarika Ghosh.
Hi there. Bangladeshi author Taslima Nasreen says her article asking Muslim women to reject the burqa, an article which was written 3 years ago and was translated on Sunday and published by Kannada daily Kannada Prabha, may not actually be hers, and in any case is being misused to create social tension. 36 hours after the article was published, Muslim groups staged violent protests in Karnataka, violence in which 2 people died and a massive amount of property was damaged. Today, Karnataka was calm, but there are growing fears that the protests were not spontaneous but motivated by Congress politicians together with extremist Muslim groups.
This Kannada translation of an article on the burqa by controversial Bangladeshi author in exile, Taslima Nasreen, has triggered violence at several places in Karnataka. The fact that the groups targeted Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa's hometown Shimoga and former Prime Minister H.D. Devegowda's hometown Hussain raises questions over the political motives. The BJP government in Bangalore, buckling under pressure from Muslim groups, has registered an FIR against the newspaper and even forced it to publish an apology in the front page. CNN IBN has learned that the protesters had the backing of state Congress Muslim leaders.
It's a very provocative article. This article was written somewhere in 2007 and there was no need of Kannada Prabha to reproduce this article.
Will not tolerate publication of any derogatory article against any religion or faith.
This is not the first such attack on Taslima Nasreen and her writings in recent times.
See what has happened to M.F. Hussain. It is Hindu intolerance. And here is Muslim intolerance. Unless you see both intolerances equally, you can't really bring sanity to India.
While calm has returned to Shimoga and several parts of Karnataka, the violence has only exposed how every single political group in the state is flirting with extremist elements. If the BJP has been accused of not reining the Sri Ram Sene, the Congress now has to answer how it encourages fringe Muslim groups to take law into their own hands. With DP Satish in New Delhi, in Bangalore, Amir VP.
That's our question of the day tonight. Does religious sentiment override freedom of expression? Which is greater in a liberal democracy? Religious sentiment or freedom of speech and expression? Type QTD space Y for yes, QTD space N for no, SMS to 51818. You can also vote on our website, ibnlive.com. And you can also contact us on twitter.com and join the debate. We will play your tweets during the show. At least we'll try to. Joining us tonight, Assaduddin Owaisi, MP of the Majlis Ittahadul Muslimeen, who the group that in fact in 2007 also targeted Taslima Nasreen in a violent way in Hyderabad. Amir Raza Hussain, theatre director, and we have Swapan Dasgupta, columnist and senior journalist joining us. Gentlemen, thanks very much. What's our poll saying at the moment? Does religious sentiment override freedom of expression in a liberal democracy? What are you telling us there? 78% are saying yes. Religious sentiments override freedom of expression. Let's get into crossfire on that one. Assaduddin Owaisi, you know, at the end of the day, it's an article. It's an article written by Taslima Nasreen. She's disowning it, but it was written 3 years ago. It's been published and translated and published in Kannada Prabha. Is it worth loss of life? Is it worth massive loss of property? Is this kind of protest the way to protest against the written word?
No, whatever has happened in Shimoga, it is really a shame that people have lost their lives. But coming back to your main question of this program, please understand that freedom of expression is not limitless. Article 19 is a fundamental right, but there are limits on your freedom of expression. And that is why you have 153 IPC, you have the defamation laws, you have all these laws which are there in existence. One cannot say that I have freedom of expression and I keep on committing an act of blasphemy. I can understand criticism of Islam. I am not stopping anyone from criticizing Islam. But there is a limit to it wherein you cannot commit an act of blasphemy. Why do you have defamation laws for? And why is it that the Kannada newspaper had compounded the mischief by printing that article? And now Taslima Nasreen said, I didn't write it. I mean, Taslima Nasreen is a figure of hatred. I mean, people all over the world know that she hates Islam. And you have an example over here, Sagarika, that you have Taslima Nasreen, who's a foreigner. We are talking about her freedom of expression, and you have an Indian who's being harassed and who's accepting Qatari citizen. So what kind of secularism is this? What kind of practice government of India is doing? That I am not justifying if Mr. Hussain Sahab has committed any blasphemy or hurted the sentiments. But here you have a foreigner who's hell-bent on destroying communal amity of India.
So are you then agreeing with the Sangh Parivar groups that want to behead Hussain, that want to gouge out his eyes, that have issued that kind of threat to him? Are you then in agreement with that kind of language that they have used against Hussain?
No. I'm sorry.
But
I'm sorry, Sagarika.
to them he has committed blasphemy.
I am not. What I am saying is that we have laws over here, and this lady over here, Taslima Nasreen, I mean, she stands for hatred. She's a third-class writer. But whatever she writes is hatred and committing blasphemy against the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And that Kannada newspaper had compounded that mistake. And the same thing happened, Sagarika, 5 days ago in my own state. Immediately, state government reacted quickly. In Khammam district, the police reacted immediately, confiscated all those articles which were published in a book by these so-called rationalists, and who had published all these articles. So this is a nationwide conspiracy hatched by the so-called liberal, progressive voices and the rightists. When it comes to Islam and the Prophet Muhammad, the rightists and these progressive and these rational elements come together, and it clearly shows their hatred towards Islam. We are not saying you cannot criticize. You please criticize. You have all the right. But you cannot commit an act of blasphemy.